Hello everyone and welcome to your online drawing course. My name's Siri and just want to say welcome, and I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I hope that this gives you something to think about while you're in your houses at this time. So the first class is going to be an exercise in cross contour drawing, which probably some of you have heard of. If you haven't, I've got a very simple kind of diagram to show you what cross contour drawing is. Contour drawing is kind of when you draw around the outside edge of an object. Cross contour drawing, and here's my kind of slightly silly drawing, is when you draw lines that kind of describe the outside of the form of an object. So you see this is a very flat glass. I mean, you can see it's a glass, but it doesn't look three-dimensional in any way. Whereas this one does, and that's largely because of these cross contour drawing lines, which are these rounded lines and the ellipses here. So we're going to be doing something a little bit more complex than that, but that's the general idea about cross contour drawing. So for this exercise, you're going to need just a regular pencil with an eraser. You could have, if any of you have got charcoal pencils, great, or even willow charcoal, but a charcoal pencil is a really good one to have. And for the final stage, if you have ink, fantastic, ink and a brush, or you could just use like a pen like that. This is a Identi pen, just a nice drawing pen. And I was trying to think of what you might have in your houses that you can. It will be easy to find, to draw, and might be interesting to draw. And I thought, well, everyone's got a pair of shoes, so shoes can be really fun to draw because they've got a lot of character. I just wanted to show you what inspired me to do this project, which is a Van Gogh painting, and it's a painting of some shoes, and he did so many of these paintings of shoes, different kind of old boots and these kind here and clogs, and he was really into shoes. And you can see how with the brush strokes here, he's using cross contour. I mean, we're not going to be painting, but we can do this with our charcoal, with our pencil. So here's another Van Gogh drawing, and it's an ink drawing, though he did start it out as a pencil drawing, I think, and went over with pen and ink. He often did that with these kind of drawings. But there are so many different examples of cross contour lines in this, and I think it's a great one to look at. I'll leave it on the screen for a little while. We'll look at the fountain and the way he did the different planes of the fountain and the trees. A rather strange description of cross contour drawing from this book, which is a great book about drawing. He described cross contour drawing as, imagine a fly with ink on its feet walking all over your face. Here's what I have chosen to draw. My old boots. Seem like they'd be quite a good subject. And I think I'm going to draw them from above, because that might give me quite a good angle. So I've just started out here by doing some lines around the edge of my boot, and as you can see, I've done lots of lines. It doesn't matter, you don't have to get them right first time. I just want to get the sense of the contour. You can see some of these little lines that I'm doing across are actually contour lines to give the idea of the shape. This is particularly good for contour lines, this buckle. You can kind of really use that to describe how it goes around the form like that. So you're just starting off really roughly. You can always get more fine, when you've got a little bit more detail in. So you can even do put a little contour into your shading, which can be quite good. And if you feel like I'm doing this with a charcoal pencil, I would advise starting with a regular pencil because it's easier to erase. You can even bring the eraser in just to kind of bring, you know, a little texture into where you've put your shading. So you can use your eraser as a really good art tool, drawing tool. You see, because I don't really like what I did here. It was the shadow, and I want to make it different. So I'm just going to erase it back and try it again. Or I might just leave it like that. I think it looks quite nice. So I'm really enjoying drawing this boot because there's just so much in it, and you can kind of go, you can go into a huge amount of detail, or you can just leave it really rough. However you like, you know, whatever your style is. When you're doing a cross contour, sometimes it's hard to work out which one it is, and sometimes there are more than one. So, like for instance, with this boot, it's kind of got this sense of the cross contour, but it's also got this sense. So you kind of make your choice, or you combine them both. Like here, you see how I've started bringing some little lines here just to indicate the curve of the fabric, and then I'm kind of picking it up around here, and I'm leaving this because there's some light there. I really would have your boot or your whatever object you're drawing in good light, because then you can kind of bring in some nice tonal drawing as well. Getting to the end pretty much now. I think I'm just going to play around with the background, see what I can do with it, and that will be that. Okay, well here's a final quick little exercise for you if you want to do more. I've become obsessed with drawing shoes now. So I've started drawing these sandals with pencil, and I'm just taking my pen and just going over the lines with a sort of, I'm not getting into any detail or shading. I'm just kind of giving it a quick sort of line, and then I'm going to probably erase my pencil lines. So if you feel like doing that as a little homework exercise, I can't wait to see what you guys do with these, and take it in your own special way. I'm sure everyone's got their own thing, and I very much look forward to see how you interpret this, and have fun drawing shoes.